Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hi everyone. So today we will present about the agribusiness consultant on Rosmie Sendai Industri Sdn Bhd. So as an agribusiness consultant, we are required to find the problems and also give the best solution for it. Before we move further, let me introduce my name first. My name is Muhammad Hanif bin Mohamad, and then the next presenter will be.
Hello, my name is Muhammad Arif bin Azizan.
Hi, I'm Ahmad Nizamuddin.
Hello, hi, Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera. My name is Muhamad Haidhar bin Norjeli.
Okay, next let's start our presentation. As for the first one, we will look on the company background. So, the RSI is stand for the Rosmie Snack Industry. The full name of this company is Rosmie Snack Industri Sdn Bhd. As we can see, the Facebook name is Keropok Amplang Big Me. And then we can see the mission and vision of this company. There are two missions of this company currently, which is the first one is to produce 1.5 ton per day in the end of 2021. And then number two, to export the Amplang product to Brunei, Singapore, and then Hong Kong. Currently, they focus on the markets such as in Sabah, Sarawak, and also export to the peninsula of Malaysia. Next, we will see the vision of this company. The vision of this company is from traditional to international. That means as before this, in the beginning, they start from home and then they use manual method, which is use of human effort, and then currently they want to switch to using machine to increase the productivity and also to increase the production for them to go to the international market. Okay, next, let's look on the RSI journey. So in 1985, this company has been established by Mrs. Rosmie binti Naridin, as the name of the company is Rosmie Brothers Business. This is a handmade product that made from home, which is the Mrs. Rosmie home in Kampung Muhibah Raya, Tawau, Sabah. So in the beginning, this Rosmie Brothers business only have 5 employees, which is start from the family members of Mrs. Rosmie. And then in 1992, Rosmie Snack Industry have been the first supplier of keropok amplang snacks in the Tawau district of Sabah, Malaysia. So they be rewarded as the first supplier of the amplang snack in the Tawau of Sabah in 1992. And then we proceed in 2000. Mrs. Rosmie Naridin handed over the business to Mr. Rozikin bin Suratman, which is her youngest son, to continue the legacy of their family business. As we can see, this company start from the 1985, and then in 2000, this company being handed over to the other person, which is her son. So this means that Mrs. Rosmie handled or managed this company in more than 15 years in 1985 until 2000. Then the Mr. Rozikin fully take over this company in 2013. And then we can see that there was several changes made by the Mr. Rozikin. In 2017, Mr. Rozikin changed the name of Rosmie Brothers to Rosmie Snack Industries Sdn Bhd. So that means that Mr. Rozikin changed from the enterprise to Sdn Bhd. Then in 2019, we can see that Mr. Rozikin again made the changes by move from the home as the place to produce the amplang snack into the factory. This is to increase the production and to make the management and operation more efficient. Next, let's look on the RSI organization chart. So, the director, currently the director is Rozakin bin Suratman, Mr. Rozakin bin Suratman, which is this year, he is 40 years old. And then we can see his staff, which is start from the financial manager Sayyidah Haninah Syuhadah binti Indra, with the help of Assistant Financial Manager Nur Farizaini binti CG, and then the Logistic Manager Shahrizal bin Abdul Rahman, and then Marketing Manager Nur Fatin Fitria binti Saharuddin, and then the Assistant Marketing Manager Muhammad Shahrizan bin Gordon. So we can see that Mr. Zakin chose the young generation to continue this business with him, as this business is second generation and the first generation is his mom, Mrs. Rosmie, and then he as the youngest son continue the legacy of their family business. So he chose this young generation to be with him, to continue the journey, uh, to continue the vision from traditional into the international. So this team will make the Amplang Snake go more to the international. Next, okay, for the product, before this, when his mom, Mrs. Rosmi, handle or manage this business, only the variety is just one, which is from the fish. But when the Mr. Rozakin take over, he add two more variety, which is from the squid and also shrimp, to attract more customer by having more variety. And also this packaging we can see in the picture, the blue color one and the yellow color one is the new packaging that made by Mr. Zakin to attract the customer. Okay, next we will look on the financial assistance source. So this is the several source that being mentioned by the Mr. Rozakin when we do the interview session. So at the first, in the beginning, when his mom handled this business, they get the financial assistance from the Mara for them to develop this business. And then when the Mr. Rozakin take over, he get the grant also from the Sirim in term of machine. This grant value RM 250,000 ringgit Malaysia. And then he also get the grant from the SME Corp when he want to build the factory. As we know, as I mentioned before this, they changed from the home to factory in 2019. So with the help of the grants, it made they can make the factory. And also we can see there are also some other choice for them to get the financial assistance, such as from the MIPI, and then from the farmer, as we know, to promote the product, and then from the Teraju, and many more. So that's all for the introduction or company background of RSI, Rosmie Snack Industries Sdn Berhad. Next, I will pass to the next presenter, which is Ahmad Nizamuddin, to continue the presentation. Okay.
Thank you, Muhammad Hanif. Now we go to the business problem. From our interview session, that the owner mentioned 7 business problems in their business. First is a strict standard operation procedure during movement control order, also known as MCO. The effect of MCO in when the government made the rule to reduce the number of employees present at one time to only 60% from this SOP. The production dropped because the production really on manual. For the second problem is marketing. First, need to follow the trend for advertising, because the trend always change, and to get the customer, they need to always follow the trend. Other than that, change in rule and regulation in marketing, advertising such as Google Apps and Facebook. From this, they always need to keep the update about the rule and regulation. And next is online database, which is this company currently use the offline database to keep the information about their customer, and this give the problem to their database because it's not secure and limited access to their customer information. For the last one is some buyer buy in large quantity and rebrand the product, and from this the company may lose some of the customer because the customer really the another company. For the next problem is machine assistant, which is they already get the machine from Sirim worth 215,000 through the grant, but the problem is the machine is not suitable for their production, which is when they use the machine, it take more time to produce one batch of production, which is 20 kilograms per batch. When using the machine, it takes 45 minutes, while when using a manual, it only take 50 minutes per batch. Okay, for the next problem is financial problem. Before the pandemic attack, they are not really have a problem in terms of financial, but during the pandemic and MCO, they have a problem and they need to cut the full-time employer salary about 1 to 2 months, and also the company fire the few part-time worker. And for the next problem is production. Demand for unplanned cannot fulfill because of the employee only can come work about 60% of total employee, and it's made the production drop because before pandemic they can make about 20 ton per month, and during the pandemic they cannot they cannot make the 20 ton per month, which is they only get 9 ton per month using manual and machine, and from this they cannot fulfill the demand during the MCO. For the next and the last problem is management, which is they don't have a proper company report to publish for public, and from this they cannot attract the investor to invest in their company. For the next slide, I will pass to Muhammad Arif.
Okay, thank you Nizamuddin for the presentation. Now, I will be continue with the next part of our presentation, which is the SWOT analysis for the Rosmie snack industry Sdn Bhd. So, at here, we will look and see what is the strength and opportunity that this company has, and at the same time, we will also determine what is the weakness and the threat that this company will face. For the strength, this company has about 36 years experience in the amplang industry, where the current owner was become the second generation of this business in Sabah. If we talk about the supplier, currently this company has prepared about the 5 to 6 supplier to support their production. Not only that, this company also have the halal and the mesti certification. So this halal and mesti certification will help or easier the company to sell their product at the overseas. Okay, next we continue with the opportunity that can be captured by this company. Firstly, there are still more market that can be explored for this business. For example, currently, the Rosmie snack industry Sdn Bhd only supply their amplang to the Sabah and Sarawak, and they still not covered for the peninsula of Malaysia. Another opportunity is there are least number of competitor where in Sabah only have 5 company that involved in the amplang production. So it will become a benefit to them because less competitor. Next, if they also get the demand of amplang from the Singapore, Brunei and Dubai. Not only in Malaysia, but they also have the demand from the overseas. Okay, for the last opportunity is they were getting more assistance from the government, which is the agency such as Teraju and Yayasan Sabah will help them to market their product to another country such as the Japan and China. Okay, then we proceed with the witnesses of this company. We want to know what the witnesses or problem that this company was faced. For the first is the lack of documentation skill. This Rosmie snack industry is still in progress to update their information into the website. Although they were already more than 30 years in operation, but as a public customer like us, it's difficult to find the information about the company. It is because their website not fully utilized. Okay, if we look at the production part, the monthly production that was produced from their factory is still not enough to fulfill the demand that they get. It is because all of their production was using the manual labor, or we can say it as the lack of technology usage. This company, this factory still use the manual labor because they don't have the suitable machine that can help them in production of the amplang. Okay, regarding to the law of production, the Rosmie snack only can capture the small market in Malaysia. As I said before, they only can provide the amplang at the Sabah and Sarawak market only. This not include the Peninsula Malaysia. Okay, next in the aspect of the marketing experience, we can say that there is still lack of the marketing channel or marketing experience. Why? Because currently they most prefer to call their customer, which is the previous or the new customer, to buy from them, and they put the least effort to make the marketing using the social media such as the Facebook and the Instagram. Then if we talk about the product, before this they only have one variety, which is the fish amplang, and then they started to produce the prawn and squid amplang. Okay, then we continue to the last section in the SWOT analysis, which is the threat. We want to know what the threat that faced by this company. If we see at the table, Rosmie snack industry need to bear the high cost of the raw material like the fish and flour. Next is the lack of specialized from the government assistance. So, what the meaning of this lack of specialized? For example, Rosmie industry already get the machine from the government agency, but the machine that was provided not efficient in making the amplang, which is they take the more time to produce the amplang compare if we use the labor. So if they use the labor, manual labor, it's more efficient than use that machine. And the most strict for this company is same like other business face today, which is the pandemic of COVID-19. For example, most of the amplang product from this company was sold in the small market in Sabah and Sarawak. But during the movement control order, all of this market need to be closed. So Rosmie was missing their marketplace. Okay, after we get the information from the SWOT analysis, we can make the risk assessment analysis to determine which of the weaknesses or the trait that causes the high risk or problem to the Rosmie snack industry's neighborhood. This assessment was involved the probability impact table and the probability impact matrix. So, if we can look in the green table, which is the probability of impact table, we can see at the R1 or the stated about the low production level was becoming the problem that give the high impact to the business. Not only that, the probability to that problem to be happen is also high. Okay, next at the R13, which is there is no investor want to invest or involve into this business. It is because the Rosmie snack industry still do not have the proper documentation and their business is not too large. So, lot of people still do not know what amplang is, especially the customer from the peninsula of Malaysia. Okay, after we was categorize all of the problem with their probability to happen and the impact if that happen to the business, we can make the probability impact matrix from the data. So it is easier for us to make the decision which of the problem is most high risk to this company. So if we can see at the table, the red in color means that there were very serious problem or very serious risk where it need to be the priority to be solved. Okay, for example, in the red color, we have the R1, R4, R13, R17, and R14. And for the least problem, in the yellow part, we have the R7 and R16. Okay, that's all for my part. Next, I will pass to the Haidhar to continue with the next part of our group presentation. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Arif, for the presentation. Now, I am Muhammad Haidhar will continue our discussion in this video on the risk response. Okay, based on the probability and impact assessment that we have discussed by the previous presenter, there are three levels of risk that have been identified in the company. Okay, the first one is the high risk level, where the high risk level is the critical importance of the company. Okay, these are the company top priorities and it is the risk that RSI company must focus at. Okay, without further ado, let's move to the detail of the high risk level classification of RSI company. Okay, out of 18 risks that we have identified, there are 5 risks in the high risk level, which is the R1, R4, R3, R13, R14, and R17. Okay, now let's look at the detail of each risk that involved in this level. Okay, for the R1, where it is the low production level, this risk is occurs due to the production process of RSI company involved in fully manual labor, and when it comes to the movement control order, there were a limitation in the manpower which leads to the low risk production. Okay, for the R1 risk, we as an agribusiness consultant, we advise the RSI company to change the manual production into fully automatic machine production to increase the number of production. Okay, and then for the R4 risk, which is the waste available machine, the risk is arise when the problem of the inefficient machinery production of the company, like what we have been discussed by the previous presenter, where the company have given a machinery grant as much as RM 200 RM 250,000 ringgit from SIRIM. Okay, to respond for the risk, we are recommended that RSI company to invest some capital to make a research and development to modify the available machinery that has been given by SIRIM to become more efficient and can be used for the production. Okay, for the third risk involved in this level, which is the R13. So where the no investors attracted to invest in the business. Okay, based on the interview with the owners of RSI company, he said that so far the investors still not trust or confident to the businesses to invest in this business. And as an agribusiness consultant, we have tried to identify why the issue is arise, even though we know that this market of amplang production is still huge and the demand is still cannot be fulfilled. Okay, so based on our analysis, we assume that the reason of the issue arise is because the company still didn't have any published report of the company operation. Okay, company annual report is very important to attract the investor because it have the important information about the company business, uh, and the potential investor can use the report especially on the company financial statement to evaluate it is a potential invest if there is a potential to invest in the business. Okay, in addition, the potential investors can also learn more about the context in which the business operates as well as its culture and leadership. Okay, other than that, RSI company can also develop more links with the government or NGO or other company to find any opportunity to expand their businesses. Okay, now let's look for the financial risk. Okay, it can be overcome or minimized by attract more investor like what we have discussed just now, where the company need to attract more investor to invest on their businesses. Okay, it is important to improve the company documentation skills to have a high quality report that can be published and attract more investor. Okay, uh, then for the high risk level is the government policy changes. Okay, as we know, the pandemic COVID-19 has affected many business in Malaysia, as well as the Rosmie snake industry in Berhad, which also one of the companies that have been affected. Okay, the changes policies such as from the MCO to CMCO or to EMCO, enhanced movement control order, have affected the businesses. Okay, a business like RSI company that have been used manual workers cannot maximize their production because the policy always changes. And what we can suggest to Rosmie snake industry is the top management must always sensitive with any changes on the government policy which can affect the company operation so they can revise their business strategy. Okay, for conclude the discussion on this high risk level, we can see the risk may be faced by RSI company are all have been connected. When they are no investor for the company have a financial risk where it lead to waste of available machinery that had to be modified if there are a crisis in the financial. Okay, then when the government policy says to reduce the number of workers during the operation, which is the changes policy of EMCO or MCO, it will make the it will make the company will have a limited production because of lack of manpower in the manual process in production. Okay, that's all for the high risk level. Now let's move to the moderate level of risk. Okay, we have identified 11 of 18 risks that may be occur for the company. Okay, the moderate risk, which is the risk that can be accepted. Uh, this in moderate risk, it is the acceptable for it is risk that we can acceptable for this level, but each treat the development of the risk must be monitored on regular basis. Okay, with a following consideration whether the necessary measure must be implemented. Okay, now let's move to the detail of the risk. Okay, but because I think it's lack of time, so I will only focusing to explain three of risk in this level. Okay. Okay. For example, now let's look for the R5 risk, which is the wrong decision on the business strategy. Okay. Based on the interview session with the owner of RSI company, he said that the moment during pandemic, they only focusing to make the business survive, even though the profits are low, that what they are focusing to make their business survive from this pandemic. That's all. Okay. As we know, the current situation of our country still need to be worried, because especially for the economy sector. Because of that, we need to remind RSI company to have a proper business strategy planning based on the current situation, and they must always revise the business planning strategy whether it is significant to use in the current time, or if not, they have redo the business planning strategy, or they can make changes to the strategy. Okay, for the next risk that I want to explain is the wasting marketing budget, where this risk is arise when the company have invest some money to develop website on 2019. Okay, yeah, 2019. Okay, but unfortunately, the website seems not function well and give then not giving any significant impact towards the company. So what we can say on this issue is the company need to restructure or their marketing strategy based on the current situation where the online purchasing pattern have been increasingly used. Okay, then they can allocate a compatible budget to perform the marketing and make sure they are staff that fully in charge with the marketing department. Okay, then the last risk that we will discuss in this moderate level is the R10, which is the decreasing market share. Okay, the demand of unplugged industry is still wide, which makes more competitors will arise in the future. So as an consultant, we need to remind the company to providing the best product to gain the market trust, and leveraging on higher efficiencies and better customer relationship management to improve their performance, as well as to provide superior service quality as expected. The competition will be going forward. Okay. Okay, now let's move to the last level, which is the low risk level, where there are only two risks that occur in this level, which is the lost customer and workers safety during the work. Okay, the strategy to cope the customer risk is same like we have discussed previously on the strategy to gain the market share. And for the R16 risk, which is the worker safety, the company may provide an insurance to all the workers if anything bad happen during the work time, and the company can provide all workers with the basic information of the safety and health policy during the work. That this will reduce or minimize the risk of this risk when they are operate. Okay, that's all for the response strategy that we can give to Rosmie snack industry company. Okay, based on the risk analysis that we have conducted. Okay, now let's move to the risk control and monitoring. Okay, project risk control and risk monitoring is where the company keep track of about how the company risk response are performing against the plan, as well as the place where the new risks of the project are managed. Okay, risk response plan should be reviewed in regular meeting to ensure the plans are being implemented. Okay, and in this meeting, the key risks should be given more attention. New risks should be raised and discussed. Okay, lastly, let's move to the last part of the discussion, which is to wrap up this discussion. Okay, as we know, each business have its own challenges, and each person in the business have their own role in managing the challenges. Okay, so what Rosmie Snack Industries Berhad can do is identify the risk that may be faced by their company and try to differentiate each level of the risk uh, to to make sure to know which one is the top priorities to be coped, and then after that always control and monitor the risk and revise the strategy if the old strategy have not significant to be used nowadays. Okay, lastly, this is our group interview with the owner of Rosmie Snack Industries Berhad, Mr. Rozakin bin Suratman. Okay, I think that's all for our discussion today. Thank you for watching our video. That's all from us. Thank you so much.